Good morning, Shavua Tov, V'Gut Tavach. Thanks for joining in. This is the Kila Chari Torah Halacha review for Sunday, the 21st of February. We're talking now about the laws of Purim meals. We're supposed to eat a Purim Su'uda, a meal of Thanksgiving, so let's talk a little bit about that. There's no obligation to eat a meal on the night of Purim. However, one should be happy and celebratory in the evening as well by eating a small meal. Since you've been fasting all day, Tainus Esther, you'll probably be a little bit hungry. So it's good to wash and eat bread, eat a nice meal, make it festive, maybe say some words of Torah. And when you say the Birkat Hamazon, you include Al Hanisim, the paragraph for Purim, in that meal. We are required to have a meal on Purim Day, at some point on Purim Day. It should be festive, together with family and friends, insofar as that's possible in our times. Of course, if you just have a meal by yourself, you're fully in keeping with this mitzvah, together with this, whatever you can do to increase the joy and the celebration. It should be observed in the spirit of Torah, with words of Torah spoken at the meal. Since it's a holiday, candles should be lit at this meal. We do not, however, say a bracha. Men and women are obligated similarly to eat the Purim meal, including meat and bread. Proper to learn some Torah during the daytime meal. This is alluded to in the Megillah, which says, La Yehudim Haita Ora V'Simcha. The Jews had light and gladness. And the Gemara explains that Ora Zu Torah. When it says Or, light, Ora, it's talking about Torah there. Another reason is that the Torah learning will protect the person from getting out of hand, letting things go too far at the Purim meal. The custom is to eat the Purim meal after Mincha, because in the morning people are busy giving out Shalach Manas. However, when Purim falls on Friday, as it does this year, the meal should take place earlier in the day in order to honor Shabbat by having an appetite for the Shabbat meal. So preferably it'll take place before Chatzos, before halachic midday, which is 12:30 something, whatever it is. It's in the bulletin. Right, so eat that earlier in the day rather than later. There are people you'll see who stretch the meal later into the afternoon, and the issue there is that when you come into Shabbat, you're not really hungry. You want to honor Shabbos by having a proper appetite. One should eat challah at the meal. You don't have to have lechem mishnah, you don't have to have 2 challahs, but you should definitely eat a certain amount of bread within 3 or 4 minutes to make that a proper su'udah, proper meal. In addition, this should be a meat meal, and you should eat the meat at the meal to fulfill the Yom Tov requirement of eating meat. You can use red meat, but chicken can be used as well. One should take care to begin that portion before the meat portion before sunset, which of course we're going to do, as we said, because we're eating earlier this year, it being Friday. Vegetarians, what can I tell you? Intoxication. The Gemara says, Chayev inish levesumi bepuria ad lo yada ben ar haman levarach Mordechai. It says in the Gemara, it's in Megillah, it's brought in Shulchan Aruch, one is obligated to become intoxicated on Purim to the point where one can no longer distinguish between cursing Haman and blessing Mordechai. In other words, drink enough wine, doesn't say anything about scotch or anything else, talks about wine there because so many of the miracles on Purim took place involving wine. So wine is the preferred drink there. And it gives a little handy-dandy guide here how you can achieve that. One is to drink enough wine so that this level of intoxication is achieved. We should, of course, not to disgrace ourselves or become lax in any mitzvahs, such as netilas yadayim, washing our hands before the meal, making brachas, benching, davening, and so on, like that. Some are of the opinion that the mitzvah becoming intoxicated should be fulfilled before the Purim meal. However, you would do that. Another method of fulfilling this mitzvah is to drink more wine than one normally drinks at a meal during the year, and then fall asleep. Because when you're asleep, you certainly don't know the difference between Baruch, Haman, and Ar or Mordechai. Blessed is Haman and cursed is Mordechai, and the other way around. Ar or Haman, the Baruch, Mordechai. See, I'm there already. Others say that since the gematrias, the numerical equivalents of these two phrases, cursed is Haman and blessed is Mordechai, are equivalent in Hebrew, that as soon as you can't do math anymore, you're already intoxicated enough. Okay, so some of us are there all the time. No mitzvah of chinuch to train children to drink alcohol on Purim. Children underage should not be given alcohol. Women are not obligated to become intoxicated on Purim, and it's considered a lack of modesty, tznius, for a woman to do that. Why is it okay for men? Okay, we can talk about that another time. The Shulchan Aruch does not specify what kind of alcohol, but as we said, many do specify it should be done with wine. So that is what that's what we encourage. Okay, a little question about davening while intoxicated. Hopefully none of us will come to that. And also to remember the Al Hanisim, to remember the extra paragraph in Birkat Hamazon, in benching, Al Hanisim, to thank God for the miracles that were wrought for our people in those days at this season. So that's included each time you say Birkat Hamazon, the grace after meals on Purim, and also in Mariv, in Shacharis, and in the Mincha Amidas just before Shabbos. Okay, so that's the davening, that's the benching, and that is the laws of the Purim meals also. A few other things to tie up, so we will do that in the next couple days. Please stick with us. Have a good day and a good week.